Hello. This video is going to be about how to keep a record of sermons, lessons, Bible classes that you preach or deliver. And this can be used for more than just sermons. It can be used for really any type of presentation that you give. But I'm going to talk about it in the context of sermons. And the website I'm going to use is Google Drive, specifically Google Sheets. You could use Microsoft's Excel or Apple's Numbers, but I'm going to use Google Drive. You go to drive.google.com and you will need a Google account. Once you're there, go to New and click on Google Sheets. And that will open up a new blank spreadsheet. You can go up here, click on this to rename it, whatever you want to name it. So here you have a blank sheet with your columns and rows. Now the way I do it, I split up my records into 5 separate sheets, and the way you add sheets is here along the bottom, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm just going to start here at the very beginning with what I call the lessons sheet. This is the main one. Go down here to the bottom and click on the arrow to rename it. Click on rename. It's going to be lessons. First of all, lesson ID, which is just a number that uniquely identifies every presentation that is given. Lesson title, which is self-explanatory. Lesson date. Lesson time. When I say time, I mean AM or PM, not necessarily the specific time. Lesson topic. Lesson type. Lesson location. Lesson series. And lesson comments. So you'll notice some of them are too long. The way you solve that is click on this box to select everything. Go to Format, Text Wrapping, and click on Wrap. So if a word is too long, it will just go to the next line instead of being cut off. And you can drag these blue markers out, as far as you want. So I'm just going to start adding a record. This is number 1, lesson title. I'm going to just call it the love of God, just as an example. And one interesting thing that might be useful, if you want 2 lines in a Google Sheets box, what you do is press Command Enter. So instead of just Enter or Return, you press Command Enter. On a PC it would be Control Enter, and then you could type more text down here. That might be helpful. Let's see what the Sunday is going to be coming up, and let's just put that 2017-05-07. I use the year, month, day formatting. Lesson time, AM. And over here, lesson comments is stuff. I don't always put lesson comments, but you could put something along the lines of a sermon I might want to give at such and such a location. Any special comments that you have. Someone was visiting that day and they heard you speak. Now with these other tables, what I could do is actually type in the information here. So for the topic, I could put the love of God. But like I said, what I do is I create new sheets. So go down here to add sheet, and I'm going to rename it, not sheets, it's topics. Topics is going to have a topic ID and a topic name. Another one would be series. Another one would be locations. That would have a location ID and a location name. And the last one will be types. Type ID and type name. And again, with all these, I'm going to go change the text wrapping so that all the text is visible. So click on this box, go to Format, Text Wrapping, Wrap. So the particular topic here is the love of God. And when I say topic, I'm using it in the context of if I present a particular sermon topic at one location, one congregation, and then maybe I go to a different congregation at a different time and I present that again. I give that same lesson or a very similar lesson. It's going to be different, but a similar lesson. Both of those were on the same topic. So let's say I give a lesson about Daniel in the Old Testament, and then give a very similar lesson at another congregation. Both of those would have the same topic ID. That's what I mean when I use that. So here I just put one. Lesson type could be something like 1 could be sermons, 2 could be devotionals that you give, 3 could be Bible classes that you give. So just for the sake of example, let's say this was a Bible class. Add a location, and again, just for example, I'm going to give a name, Central Church of Christ. Lesson series would be if the lesson or Bible class were part of a series. For instance, a series about the people in the genealogy of Christ, or the attributes of God. Now, a lesson might not be part of a series, so you could leave this blank. And I guess I will for this example. I could put 2, but I'll just leave it blank just to show that nothing has to go in there. So just looking at that, we know it's a lesson called The Love of God, given May 7th, 2017, 8 in the morning. And it was a Bible class given at this congregation. There's other ways that you could enhance this. If you wanted to make the headers stand out more, you could click on 1 and then bold them. And another thing that you can do is go to View, Freeze, 1 row. And that way when you scroll down, that row stays there. And that's very helpful if you have a whole bunch of rows and you're way down here, you want to see what a particular column represents. So you could go here and do that for each one of your tables. And every time there's a new lesson, Bible class, presentation, you would go down and add a new row. That would be 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. And if you're ever in a situation where you just need to drag numbers down, you might already know this, but you can select this and then shift click this, take this at the corner, and as you drag it down, it just automatically populates. But other than that, that is the basic way of how I format my sermons, how I keep a record of them. Now, one of the things that can be very helpful about this is that you can search it in Google Sheets itself. You can do a query on the data that you have. So I have another table. It's already been populated with lessons information. So let's just do an example to show you what I mean. And I'll go ahead and delete this so I can start over here. Just going from lessons, let's say I want to find out how many sermons, which sermons have I preached at this location ID number 3. How would I do that? Well, you add a new sheet first of all, and you can take that sheet and drag it over here to the right to make it stand out from the rest. I'm going to rename it query, and then you click on A1, the box that corresponds with A1. Go to the function bar at the top, and this is what you type in: equals query, open parentheses, and then you'll see it says data. It's basically asking what should we search in. Well, I'm going to go back to lessons, and I'm going to click on this box, and that just selects the whole thing. We want it to search all the lessons, right? So back to query, put comma, and then in quotation marks, I'm going to give it a command. Select star, which means all, where something is equal to something, where location ID is equal to 3. Now location ID is in column G, so I'm going to say where G equals 3. Press enter, and it shows these 5 lessons and their information that were done at location ID of 3. You notice they all have that same location ID. If I just want to get a number, all I care about is the number for some reason that I have preached or someone has preached, I would type in the word count. So count A, where G is equal to 3. And it'll just give me the number 5. And so there's a lot you can do with this. Let's do another example to demonstrate the idea of topic and what I mean by topic, let's say I want to see the different times I have preached about Micaiah. So Micaiah, a man in the Old Testament, preached a sermon, and the topic ID associated with that lesson was 3. So if I go to topics, I'll see 3 is Micaiah. So I want to find out where topic ID, or where E, is equal to 3. So back to query, I could just change it from G to E, and I'll change this back to star. And there it shows me 3 separate times that same topic of Micaiah has been given. And all of these were at different locations. So it is very powerful, and it could be helpful in certain situations. This is a little bit confusing, but if you ever forget the layout of that, you can type in Google help, Google Sheets SQL. SQL is the language right here. And another helpful resource for SQL is a website called W3 Schools. So if you just type in W3 Schools SQL, this website shows you the different things that can be done with that language. So I think that's pretty much it, and I hope that this can be a helpful tool and you can take ideas from it for either the sermons or Bible classes or presentations that you deliver. Keep in mind that it is just a tool, and what really matters here is not the number of lessons that you have preached, but that you are sharing God's Word in a way that glorifies Him. But I do hope that some of these ideas maybe you can take and can be helpful to you in some way. If you have any suggestions, any ideas that maybe this could be improved, you can leave that in the comments here on YouTube or on my blog ofweeks.blogspot.com. And that's all. Thank you very much for listening.